is great to have you all in the studio this morning. In just less than 5 minutes, I'll be reading to you major stories from 5 different Nigerian newspapers. I remain your local host, Tion Joseph. I begin this morning with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, the Leadership newspaper. On the front page of Leadership this morning, the lead story says, as crisis escalates, PDP leaders woo Jonathan to placate aggrieved governors. Lead story can be found in details on page 4. Moving down there, the first bullet says ex-president has enormous influence over them. And the next bullet says, we are still open to negotiation, says Wike. And the last bullet says, I am inexorably connected with PDP G5 governors, Allah Mohammed. That is what we have on the front page of the Leadership newspaper this morning. But like I always say, you can go to our website, www.leadership.ng, to find even much more there. Now that takes us to the Daily Sun. And the lead story on the Daily Sun says, panic in Maiduguri as gunmen attack Atiku's campaign convoy. The first bullet says, scores injured, hospitalized. And the next bullet says, I'm not resigning as PDP candidate's campaign boss, says Udom. That is what we have on the Daily Sun. We now head briskly to the Punch. And the lead story on the Punch says, controversy surrounds Atiku convoy, attack in Borno. And the first bullet says, ex-VP's convoy attacked thrice, scores injured, APC responsible. That is coming from PDP chairman. The next bullet says, PDP faction behind attacks. Sorry, I'll take that again. PDP faction behind attacks. Count APC out. That is coming from Onanuga, Borno APC chair. And the very last bullet on the Punch this morning says, there was no attack. Suspected hoodlum arrested, says police spokesperson. That is what we have on the Punch this morning. We now slide to the Guardian, and the lead story on the Guardian says, Western assets, experts doubt FG's capacity to fund 20.51 trillion naira budget. The first bullet says, FEC approves team to sell, reorder abandoned property. The next bullet says, government's proposed asset says it's media propaganda, says officials. The last bullet I will take is the next one, which says FG yet to engage advisors. I'll leave the remaining bullets for the next session to deal with it. I'll move to this day. And on this day, the lead story says oil theft. Kyari raises the alarm, alleges threat to life. The first bullet says, and I quote, says NPCL engaged private security contractors to curb theft. The next one says, declares 2 trunk lines restored. National Oil Company open to forensic auditing. The next bullet says, country earns $741 billion from oil, gas in 21 years, says NEITI. The next bullet says, National Assembly, EFCC, ICPC seek transparency in petroleum industry to boost revenue. And the very last bullet before I hand over to the second part of the show says, daily oil production records 2-month high, above 1 million barrels in October. Thank you, viewers, for staying tuned for the first part of the show. I urge you to do the same for the second part of the show. I'll be back your way again 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. My name is Tion Joseph. Stay tuned.
sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Good morning. Welcome to the breakfast segment of Inside Nigeria, reaching you on Leadership Television. My name is Winifred Ubebo, your host on today's program. With me in the studio is a public affairs analyst, Adekolari Olamileko. It's always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Right. Thank you, man. Good morning to our viewers.
Good morning. Well, viewers, as usual, we have 5 papers on our menu for discussion today. We have Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. We have the Daily Sun. We have THISDAY. We have a Blueprint newspaper and Vanguard. We are starting off as usual with Leadership. Leadership says, as crisis escalates, PDP leaders woo Jonathan to placate aggrieved governors. As crisis escalates, PDP leaders woo Jonathan to placate aggrieved governors, says ex-president has enormous influence over them. We are still open to negotiation. Wike inexorably connected with PDP's G5 governors, Bala Mohammed. This is the leading story on Leadership this Thursday.
I think one of the
November 10th.
exactly is one of the leading story whereby because of what happened in Maiduguri yesterday.
Yes, I was going to talk
amplified.
about that. But before you go, some papers have the headline story on. Let's see this day newspaper. Okay. This day says this day's newspaper. We have Wike G5 governors still open to reconciling with PDP leaders. So let's go to Daily Sun. Daily Sun has a story on what happened, what transpired in Maiduguri during Atiku's campaign to the state. Daily Sun says panic in Maiduguri as government attack Atiku's campaign convoy. Panic in Maiduguri as government attack Atiku's campaign convoy. Scores injured, hospitalized. I'm not resigning as PDP candidate. Candidate's campaign boss who done. Panic in Maiduguri as government attack Atiku's campaign convoy. Scores injured, hospitalized. I'm not resigning as PDP candidate's campaign boss who done. That is acquired Igbo State Governor. And Blueprint newspaper incidentally also has the same leading story on its cover. It says cause injured as APC PDP supporters clash mass Atiku's Bono campaign. Scores injured as APC PDP supporters clash mass Atiku's Bono campaign. Ruling party hire talks to attack my convoy, SVP. Togri not in our character, replies APC. G5 governors visit to Bala in Bauchi deepens opposition parties crisis. NEF tackles autumn over Benue killings, Fulani profiling. Tinubu to Pali, Nasarawa miners today. Well, Adekolari, the leading story we are talking about now is discussing about is on PDP, the deepening crisis in PDP, and of course, what transpired yesterday in Bono during their campaign visits to the states.
I think what we should understand is that in this present circumstances that we found ourselves, especially with the electionary campaign season,
Yes,
all this kind of attack, maybe
They are
more
bound to
attack,
happen.
yes, they are bound to happen. But the key thing we need to enforce and reinforce and rekindle is that the security agencies must step up their game. The political parties themselves, as they are organizing, the same PDP organized campaign in Akwa Ibom, there was no problem. Although they wanted
it's a PDP state too.
state also, and they went to Kaduna.
Yes,
although
and
there was little mischief
there
around.
was also mischief too. Remember?
Exactly. Now the one that happened in Maiduguri, because I watched the the live program and I see that the crowd were quite much.
Okay.
But what the key thing is that how much of the security gaps that have been opening in that kind of scenario, how much of it did they cover up before they went into the campaign ground? Because the report is that there were stones that were being thrown, not gun really. The police also confirmed that it was stones that were being thrown.
Okay, not guns as
not
reported.
as reported. Because if it was to be
Reported.
gone, I think somebody would have been.
But how come about over 70 people are said to be hospitalized over attacks?
I think what really happened was because of the crowd that was there and because of the rowdy attention that was drawn as a result of the throwing of stone, and the vehicle were running on speed. The vehicle was, because of the stone, there were people were running on speed.
Yes, we saw some vehicles like Vanguard did portray those
vehicles that were damaged.
Yes,
the people were running, and the crowd, I think it was more or less a
It
stampede.
seems to contradict APC's claim that nothing like that happened.
Definitely.
And even the police commissioner said nothing like that happened.
You should expect that from both. I think the party in the state, that is the APC, will definitely want to defend. You can also see the reaction of the APC was that it was the faction of the PDP in the state, because as a result of the governorship primaries that was a little bit rowdy, that the person that won the PDP flag bearer of the state wasn't the right person. So there's a function in PDP in Borno State. It was that faction that led that particular thuggery and won that particular thing that happened. But our own case is this: in as much as of the campaign rally at every corner of Nigeria, the security architecture of that particular venue, of the people coming to that area, should be well taken care of. It doesn't matter who is coming, who is not coming. What the gaps that have been created is that they allow certain individuals to take advantage of the gaps, security gaps in that particular venue. And that's why they could throw missile, stone, bottle, even package pure water and the rest of them against the presidential candidate of PDP. But how they have been able to organize and create opportunity that such will not happen, we won't be talking about what's happening in Borno State today. But we just hope that the PDP campaign organizing committee will learn, the security agencies will also learn, and be able to close the gap.
But this,
what has happened.
because the issue of security, don't you think it lies with the IGP? So is the IGP that's supposed to rally its men together to find how they can secure campaigns, especially during this electionary period?
The key thing is after the IGP, we have the commissioner of police in that state. The campaign council of PDP carried the commissioner of police along, although we saw a number of policemen around. But the key thing is when it was on a road to the campaign venue that they had that issue. How many strategic police officers, NSCT officers did they put across the length and breadth of those roads to the campaign rally? If they are put in check, people who will be checking people who are standing on the roadside, such will not have happened. But because they didn't do that, and that's why this kind of
But the campaigns just started and we are seeing this kind of thing. So how do we now what should be done to counter such occurrences?
I want to believe that the campaign council have their security strategies. But the security strategy cannot be done without even the locals, the people who live within that area. They are vigilantes in Borno State, for example. And they can liaise with the vigilantes in that Borno State and work with them and be able to safeguard the routes to the campaign ground. Now, they are moving to other states.
Assuming the vigilantes and what have you just better are willing to work with opposition. Are you not taking that into consideration?
They will pay them. They won't do it for free. Either the governor is controlling them or not, they will not do it for free. They must be paid. Even the policemen that are being used, they will settle the DPO of those stations.
No, I want to find out what does
something.
the new electoral act says about that? It has nothing to say about
it. It has a lot to say about security, and the penalty falls on the political party that fail to take cognizance of the security architecture of their campaign ground. And as you speak now, INEC have come out to say that each of the political gladiators are going to sign a peace accord with them. With them, not the one that the NGOs are organizing, with them personally, with INEC. They're going to sign it. And that will go a long way to forestall any other activities that will come from terms of thug attacking campaign rally. But for my own point of discourse is this. Each of the campaign rally that we are going to organize, the event centers, how much of security lapses that are there that we'll be able to cover up. Because you can't just go into a venue and be organizing campaigns. Like when the Labour Party went to Nassarawa State, the governors gave them a place they will use. And they also provide security. And the Labour Party themselves, on their own, make sure that the security architecture, they use vigilante, they use volunteer.
They were also in Benue yesterday too.
Yes, and they were in Benue. And they make sure they organize themselves very well. That whoever that is coming there whether they are going to search them, whether they are going to provide them. They did all those that. But we can understand the one of Borno because it was like a free for all. Although the PDP themselves do talk they were their followers. And that's why they left everything open. Because the crowd on that road was like, they are welcoming them. Not knowing that there were people who have devilish mind among the people there. And that's what really happened. Exactly.
Now we are going back to leadership newspaper. Leadership has a story on there. Jonathan being called upon to wade into the issue bedeviling the opposition party. Now, Jonathan has been silent for a long time. The last time we heard about Jonathan was that he was planning to be the consensus candidate for APC during the presidential primaries. And even prior before that time, too, he was also instrumental to the opposition APC winning the state, the state, if not for the court. You understand that upturned it. Now, so we have Jonathan that has not been that has not really aligned with the party all this while. So with Jonathan actually wading,
definitely, I see him way into it. But the thing is that Jonathan himself is a Democrat. What has really happened to Governor Wike and the 5G governors is what Jonathan also prayed for when he was in PDP before he now quietly absent himself from them. And that same crisis I recall brought Atiku as the PDP candidate. Initially, the agreement of the PDP was that the power will zone to the south. How come there was no agreement?
Yeah.
That agreement was
that
not
was
followed.
what Anani said, that is just the beginning.
That is just, and now PDP now go back to go and talk to Jonathan to bring him. Have they? I know for Jonathan, he will tell them that after we told you guys that this is what will cause the problem, and these guys have stand their ground. This is what we want, and the solution is that the G5 governor said is that let this other guy go, and I believe that is the same thing they were going to tell Jonathan. Let Ayo resign and the peace will reign. Because that is the condition.
But Jonathan, at first, is Jonathan open for negotiation
with the G5 governor? He will definitely, because that is his party.
But he has not been hobnobbing with the party. He has not participated in party activities. At the time, they were even mooting the idea of even suspending him. That's why what happened in
Bayelsa. Exactly, and Bayelsa and the rest of.
So, and he has not really been identifying with PDP. Even when they had their convention, he wasn't there. He was conspicuously absent. So now, with Jonathan, will he be willing to actually wade into the matter?
If you remember, Jonathan State is still under PDP. And the election is by next year December. Next year November, December. And definitely PDP has the candidate. Now the key thing is the current PDP leadership will understand that, okay, outside every other state men or statecraft leaders they have, it's only Jonathan that will be willing as a Democrat to help them to negotiate. And it's only Jonathan they understand that these other G5 governors can listen to. But the key thing is it is what same thing that Jonathan has been complaining about internal democracy that led to the crisis. And I want to believe that Jonathan will only work for them on the basis that they will accept what the G5 governors are asking for.
But what the G5 governors are asking for, is it not better too late now? Campaigns have started. How can you now start moving central figures in the
it's not constitutional. It's not on the basis of Nigerian constitution that how you cannot move. And PDP won't power.
I'm looking at a situation whereby elections campaigns have started.
The election will not affect you as a person.
You have to have new people, and when you are removing, and you also have to change the architecture of the National Working Committee members, because IU is there and you have some Southerners. If you are bringing a Southerner now to chair the party, you have to also change the National Working Committee to reflect maybe the other.
All these are just paraphernalia of the political parties.
These changes during this is it necessary?
The thing is that it's all the paraphernalia just between the political parties, inside the political party. It doesn't affect. The electoral act doesn't have anything to do with it. The constitution of Nigeria doesn't have anything.
I know. I'm talking about just within the party. Can they just afford none that the campaigns have started?
They are losing ground. They are losing votes on the basis of they are losing people who have interest for the party on the basis of this internal crisis democracy they are having. So what else do they want? And they need the vote. So to get the vote is to go out and do what is expected of them. Now, Rivers State has said there is no vote for PDP for the president in their state. Benue State the same thing. The other governors the same thing. So if they lose out on the basis of because of one man, what do you expect? So it's better for them.
No, with this new electoral act, do the governors really have a say? What about people's mindset?
The key thing is the electoral act deal with the vote. not the governors.
Yes.
But you know that the governors are very strategic in their various states. See what Wike is doing, creating over 250,000 licensed officers, grassroots people who work for the party. The same thing in Enugu State, the same thing in Benue State, and also the other 5 in Oyo State, the same thing. They are creating opportunity for people to now believe so much in them that if they say go and vote for this person, this is the person to go and vote for, not what the national chairman will say. Even in Benue State, the national chairman doesn't have a stake as it stands now, even though the current governor is going for Senate. So the key thing is that how can we work for the party to make the party get the necessary vote they want? And the key thing is that let us do the internal democracy. And for me, what I understand that Jonathan will bring to the table for them is that can we have this internal democracy settle and allow the structure that we have reflect what these guys are asking for? Because that is the only answers they have. If not, nothing will come out of it. He will just go and talk, and the PDP refuses to agree to that. Then the crisis continues.
So how come PDP has not been able to put this house over the years, in order over the years? Because we even had the former Senate President Ken Namani setting up an institute for
leadership and governance.
Leadership and governance that boiled down to internal democracy in the party.
Exactly.
And how many years down the line is still elusive?
The thing is that it is all about personal interest and group interest that's playing out. What has really killed PDP, I mean, not killed, kept PDP in the crisis they found themselves, is because of personal interest of each of the gladiators that you can find. But the other 5 governors, we have discovered that their interest is more or less like an regional interest that they were fighting for, which means the majority of people support them. But these other guys are just in personal interest. The presidential candidate of PDP is only for his interest. He has been longing to be president, and so the only channel, the only medium he can get it is through PDP, and he did it all by agreeing to so many other personal interests that brought in the new chairman. And if you remember, Wike has been slamming that the current chairman said the moment social person emerged, he would do what? Stay back. So why are you not stepping aside? Exactly. So those are the things that brought PDP to what they are, and it has always been with them since 1999. Personal interest. If you remember the Obasanjo years, it was always personal interest, and PDP cannot, differentiate itself or delude itself from that particular personal interest that people who thought that they have the money bags to the party can always do, and that's what has brought them to the level they are today.
Now with this lacuna crisis within the party, do you see what are the party's chances in 2020?
The chances are still there if they can quickly amend their fences. The PDP will still get a bulk of votes from other states, not the other 5 state governors, or even the 5 state governors that are against them. They will still get votes from them, but they may not get as much as they would have desired. So the key thing is for them to work with the governors and get the vote, because it is the vote that matters. The APC is doing everything across Nigeria so they can get the vote. So PDP should be able to, they should learn for APC. They have crisis, but they are managing it. They are stressing themselves. The president is doing everything possible. If you can see the campaign strategy he's taking, he's meeting particular, chiefly sectorial leaders who are also members of his party. And that's how to do that kind of solence campaign. He's meeting choice people in business sector, economic sector, who also are members of his party, who also help him to campaign further. And that's what PDP is supposed to learn from. They make their internal crisis, work on it, and they also launch out to the people. But PDP, they are still finding it difficult because of personal interests that have overtaken the general interest and national interest of Nigeria as a whole. And that's why they have found themselves to be.
At this paper, leadership, we did carry a story that is like Atiku is ready to move on because he went about with his campaign, as flagged his campaign, without the G5.
Definitely. As it stands now, if the Jonathan coming to help them to settle the case doesn't work, they will continue. And one thing about PDP, as it stands today, they have already made up their mind. Either they come or they don't come, they will continue with their campaign. But the key thing is that continue with their campaign by February 25th to 28th, when the vote will be casted. If they continue like this, definitely they will lose vote from those governors and those states, which against what they have expected. But I wish they can quickly amend their fences and they will get what they want. But the key thing is that it is all about personal interest. What they are putting on the table, the presidential candidate cannot take it.
Okay, now we also have a new entrant that is about to join them, and that is the Bauchi State Governor, Bala Mohammed. He says he's inexorably connected with PDP G5 governors.
If you go back to the PDP presidential campaign,
however, but his case is also different because he alleges that from reports and the letter he wrote that the the presidential candidate of the
Mhm.
party was liaising with his
Opponent,
opposition, the
opposition.
APC.
Exactly. And what is happening is because of the interest, also personal interest
Mm.
of each of these political gladiators, each of these political actors that I can see. It is all about interest. Remember the APC governorship candidate in Bauchi State is a former air chief, and he
Yeah,
has
oh yes,
relationship
Egypt.
with other people. So the relationship is what is sparkling what Bala is complaining about. And Bala should also remember that he also have relationship across board. So his opponent or whatever they are doing, is as a result of personal interest. Who knows what they have been doing? Maybe they have business connection with each other. And but we can now rule that out. But the key thing is that they must work for PDP so that PDP can get their vote. But if they work against PDP, definitely even his own governorship chances in the state is very slim as we speak now.
Okay. Very, very slim. All right. Thank you so much. That's all for politics. We are going on a break. When we come back, we'll be reviewing and discussing other papers we have on our menu. Don't go away. Stay tuned.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, this is Inside Nigeria, reaching you on leadership television. With me in the studio is a public affairs analyst, Adefolari Olamilekan. It's always a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we are continuing with the papers we have on our menu. Talking of this day newspaper, let's see what this day is up in Nigeria this morning. Oil theft. Kyari raises the alarm, alleges threat to life. Oil theft. Kyari raises the alarm, alleges threat to life. Says NNPCL engage private security contractors to curb theft. Declares two tank lines restored. Oh, sorry. Declares two tank lines restored. National Oil Company open to forensic auditing. Country earned $741 billion from oil, gas in 21 years, says NATE. National Assembly, EFCC, ICPC seek transparency in petroleum industry to boost revenue. Daily oil production records 2 months high, above 1 million barrels in October. That's a portfolio of stories underneath the main headline. Oil theft, Kyari raises the alarm, alleges threat to life.
Exactly. You know, this is the life wire of our economy. The crude
Yes,
oil
this is
sales
crude oil.
that we are making.
Despite rhetorics on devaluating, changing the mainstay of the economy,
It has
it has
always
remained oil.
it oil still contribute 85% of government revenue, federal government especially. But the key thing about oil theft is that it has been with us for a long time, very, very long time. The discovery these days is just like the government was just trying to take action. That they know that at the end of the day, they are fighting a strong guys that have become like institution in Nigeria, not just Nigeria alone, internationally.
But what came to my mind when the story broke yesterday night in that I asked myself, does it mean that the NNPCL GMD Kyari knows the oil theft?
If you are ever work in NNPC and you have worked to the point of becoming a GMD or even a director, you know that oil theft is happening. And it has always been this conspiracy link that there is no oil theft in Nigeria that NNPC staff, top management staff doesn't know about, either GMD or group DMG or whatever you call yourself.
Okay.
But the key thing is that the alarm bells is just ringing as a result, or maybe because of the non and the body language of the president against the activities of oil theft in Nigeria. That's why the NNPC is now coming out. And again, people also recall that, okay, because NNPC has now become a company, now they are looking for choice investors, because as from next year, NNPC will open its book for investors to come and buy into their stock. So nobody will go and buy into a company that they know that half of its production is being stolen by unknown people. So they want to open up their books.
Yes,
and they want,
transparency.
exactly.
And that's what many people are giving thanks to the Petroleum Industry Act.
Exactly.
which,
Even though
calls
it's going
for
to be reworked by next year.
transparency. Yes,
Exactly.
of course, it's going
So
to
we
be
just
reworked.
hope that this searchlight on the activities of oil theft and this searchlight of NNPC becoming more transparent, more
And
accountable,
its activities too.
exactly, and more responsible to the Nigerian government and Nigerian people, and to all investors and people who are working with them, will continue, not just at this point in time of a Kyari administration, but afterward, because you can start a good thing now. Before you know it, after change of leadership, the next people that will come are not interested in that transparency. So we just hope that it will continue. And again, earning 741 billion in 21 years, I think that amount is 21 years is small.
Small.
I think that if you are to do a forensic analysis of it, we earn more than that.
As a
21
matter
years.
of fact, this is the first time that the NNPC is declaring profits.
It was even
That's
under Kyari-led administration that we started hearing NNPC declaring,
dividend.
initially they will tell you that it's a sacred cow. Nobody goes there to
nobody
check their
goes there.
books. Just like the Ministry of Defense, that they want to know how much the military are spending on their budget. They will tell you, don't go there. That is what was happening to NNPC before this administration came about. And the PIA also help us to unbundle it for us to know what is happening. Because that is the main source of our economy. We just hope that the government coming, or before the government, will put more effort on economic diversification and focus on non-oil sectors to bring us more revenue and more accountable in that regard. Although Federal Inland Revenue is trying their best to account for all the taxes in that area, but we need to do more and get the economy going for us.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, talking about NNPC, yesterday the news also proved that Ararume has taken the agency to, or the company to court over his removal as chairman. What do you have to say?
It's going to be an effort, activity in totality, in the sense that the PIA is now in operation. NNPC has been bundled. It's no more one single agency again. It has now been broken into different organizations. So what is he looking for? Although let's allow him to go to the court and try his luck, then maybe it will work for him.
But still on this oil threat, since the discovery of the vessel that by Tompolo's security agency, pipeline surveillance agency, nothing has been heard about the issue or about the matter.
You know what happened? They say it was burnt.
Yes, by
the security agent that they don't want to use it.
By the Navy.
So the issue is this: can we have more details?
And many Nigerians actually condemned the move that it was trying to
cover up the
evidence,
exactly.
And they said they have the mandate to destroy vessels like that.
Exactly. They are right. So they have the mandate.
It doesn't stop the investigation.
Exactly.
It doesn't stop the trial. So, but Nigerians have not heard anything to date.
We just hope that the matter can be taken up by the NSA, National Security Advisor Office, because that will be the bulk way, because it's a threat to national security. Stealing oil theft is a threat to national security. And the key thing is this, fighting such activities goes down into the marrow and bones of stakeholders in the oil sector. A lot of people will be fingered by the time they begin to reveal the names of people who have benefited from such activities, not just now, but many years back. So I think maybe that's why they want it. But for the sake of posterity and for the sake of cleaning the august table of the oil sector in Nigeria, they need to dig deep and let Nigeria know what has really happened. But the fear is this: if they begin to dig deep, names of people who have benefited from it will be mentioned, and some of them could be people that we have looked up to that are doing genuine business.
Perhaps that's the reason why we have not really made effort in restoring or developing the economy, because everything is always in cover up.
Exactly.
For instance, in matters of security, the UAE published said they were going to disclose names of Nigerians that are sponsoring terrorism, and up to date, nothing has been heard about it. And you have a situation whereby a vessel was discovered to have been siphoning oil from the pipeline, and nothing has come out of it. And you are saying that if they should investigate it, it will uncover so many things. Why are we Why are we shielding all these things? All these people.
I normally say something that said people that you find in politics today, some of them are field businessmen. Some of them have achieved achiever in their business life. But the key thing about this particular item, some of them have had their hand soiled in some illegal activities that have brought them to limelight. The same thing with this oil theft. By the time they open up the names of people, some of them may not know directly or indirectly that this is oil theft money, this oil theft goods that they are participating in. But you can remember the petroleum scam, the subsidy scam that was opened by National Assembly. By the time they begin to open, see the names of people they were calling, and majority of them escaped the wrath of the law as a result of what? Their technicality done to them. This is the same thing that is happening in oil theft, because people that will be opening up, the names of people that will be mentioned, the organization that will be pinpointed, you will discover that it's going to be something that, as they said, it is an organized crime. And then when they say organized crime, it includes both state actors and non-state actors. It includes those side political activities and not, including some NGOs who may have benefited from funding as a way of foundation funding, donor agency funding from some of these activities. So we expect it to be open. But when it is open, when the canker worms of that particular thing is open, we should not be surprised with the kind of people that are going to discover that participate or enjoy the loot of oil theft in Nigeria.
So what is the way forward?
The way forward is this: we should just keep our searchlight on it, even though we don't want it to happen again. Let us see how we can secure that our oil environment and secure it for the future and for now and for betterment of the
you
economy.
talk about see how to secure. Now, who secures it? The NNPC, CN itself, or private enterprise? Don't forget the ruckus it generated when they gave that contract, that multi-billion contract to Tompolo.
I think it's part of the amnesty arranged organization, and it's part of the amnesty structure that the Niger Delta guys should be used as part and parcel of the security agencies. But the key thing that happened is that because of lapses, the security agencies now take over that particular area and discover that this is more like a way to come and eat, and they took advantage of it, and they messed it up. And that's why the NNP is enjoying and employing private organizations to come and take over and do it more better. And you can see the result of the private organization than the security agents doing it. Although we still believe so much in the private the security government agency, but the key thing is the Niger Delta guys understand the terrain far better than the security agencies. Even though the security agencies are using technology now, but the guys understand how to go into the creeps, and the rest of the area and get some of these stories and findings that we are discovering now. But we just hope that there could be a synergy between the private organization and the government-owned security agency, because that is the only way. But out of it all is that we need sincerity of purpose from all of them: the NNPC, the private security guard, and the government security agency.
But before this time around, the NNPC did disclose that they were paying some humongous amount of money, billions, that to secure pipelines, yes, every year. So what happens to that? Another avenue to siphon money?
Although people have criticized NNPC for such amount being spent, because pipeline became something that people still continue to vandalize.
Then what happened to the money that you say the budget you earmark every year for the surveillance?
It's part of their spending, but we just hope that they can be more prudent and more accountable in their spending, because it has become opportunity for people to now lambast NNPC and collect one or two things from them. But now we now have a strategic formal agreement with a security agent, privately owned, that is doing it. So we now know how much they are spending, and we now know that there's no more extra cost on it again, and that is the best way. But then the other one that they just say, okay, we give to private, and there's no name attached to the people that are giving the money to. There was a time they said OPC also collected their own contract, but now this time around there's no OPC. So we now know that it is the one of the Tompolo gang or group that are holding that particular position.
Thank you so much for your thoughts today on Inside Nigeria. We are running up with this THISDAY headline story. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the program. We are running up. Next week, next week. Tomorrow is another day. Don't forget to stay tuned. I remain Winifred Global. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.